Welcome to The Explainer. We're here today with our partners at Breakthrough Pro to break down one of the biggest career hurdles out there, the job interview. That mix of nerves and excitement, we all know it. But today, we're going to give you a clear, actionable guide to not just get through it, but to absolutely crush it. You've heard this a million times, right? Well, it has never been more true than in a job interview. Seriously, before you even say a single word, how you carry yourself and your professionalism are already telling a story. Let's make sure it's a great one. So you might be thinking, hey, I already proved I have the skills. I aced their tests. What more do they want? And look, that's a totally fair question. But the thing is, those tests only show what you can do, not how you do it. And that how, well, that's everything. Just think about it from the company's side for a second. A test score can't tell them if you're going to be a great team player under pressure, or if you can explain a really complex idea to a client. And maybe most importantly, it can't tell them if you're someone they'll actually enjoy working with every single day. That's what the interview is really for. Okay, so here's our game plan. We've broken this whole journey down into 5 key phases. We'll start with why interviews even exist, then dive into prep, mastering the actual questions, and then finish up strong with what to do after the interview, including how to get paid what you're worth. Ready? Let's do this. So let's get right to the heart of it. What is an employer really trying to figure out? You know, in most interviews today, it's not just about what's on your resume. They want proof. It's not about what you say you know, it's about what you can prove you've actually done. Look at this list. For every single one of these, they don't want you to just say, oh yeah, I'm a great leader. No way. They want a story, a specific example that proves it. And telling those stories effectively, that doesn't happen by magic. It all starts with your preparation. Honestly, success in an interview starts way before you ever walk into that room, whether it's a real room or a Zoom room. It all begins with your homework. These 3 steps are your foundation. They are absolutely non-negotiable. If you skip one, the whole thing could get shaky. You have to know the company's mission. You have to get inside the hiring manager's head by really studying that job description. And finally, you've got to show respect for the opportunity by dressing the part. Getting the dress code right is such an easy win. It shows you've done your research. A tech startup is probably going to be business casual, but a big bank will expect business professional. Not sure which one to go with? Here's the golden rule. It is always better to be a little overdressed than even slightly underdressed. Always. All right, now for the main event. Let's talk about answering those tricky questions, the ones that are designed to really see how you think and act when you're on the spot. Let me introduce you to your new best friend, the STAR method. I'm not kidding, this is your secret weapon. It's a super simple framework that stops you from rambling and helps you tell a really clear, powerful story about your skills. Okay, let's break it down real quick. You start with S for situation. Just paint a quick picture, set the scene. Then you move on to T for task. What was your specific job? What was the goal you were trying to achieve? Next up is the most important part, A for action. This is where you get specific about what you did, step by step. And you always finish with R for result, what happened in the end. And here's a pro tip for you. Whenever you possibly can, use numbers to describe your result. Quantify it. Numbers make a huge impact. Okay, so let's see how this actually works with a real-world question. This is a classic one, right? They're trying to see how you handle the unexpected. Wow, see how incredible that is? Instead of just saying, I'm good under pressure, this answer shows it. It takes a total crisis and turns it into a story about leadership and adaptability. It's concise, it's powerful, and that final result, $78,000 in sales, that's the part they're going to remember. So, you've nailed the questions, you're feeling good, but hold on, the interview isn't quite over when you walk out that door. What you do next can be the thing that seals the deal. Each of these steps keeps your professional momentum going. A quick thank you email shows you're still interested. Giving your references a heads up so they're ready to sing your praises, super smart. The big takeaway here is to stay proactive and engaged in the process right up to the very end. All right, you've navigated the whole process and you get the call. They're making an offer. This brings us to the final, and for a lot of people, the most intimidating part, talking about money and making sure you get paid what you deserve. Take a good look at this number, 42%. That is the percentage of younger workers who are likely underpaid. That's a huge number. You've worked too hard to become a part of that statistic.
Remember, if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
You know that little voice in your head that says, "Am I really good enough for that much?" That's called imposter syndrome, and it is so common. But you have to advocate for yourself. This content, brought to you by Breakthrough Pro, is designed to empower you precisely because knowing your value is a skill, and it's based on the market, not on your self-doubt. Having a few phrases like these ready to go can make all the difference. See the pattern here? You're starting with your excitement for the role, grounding your request in actual research, and then calmly and professionally stating your case. It's not about being pushy, it's about being prepared. Because really, when you strip it all away, an interview is just a chance for you to tell your story. It's not about begging for a job. It's about confidently and clearly telling the story of the incredible value you are going to bring to their team. Prepare that story, and you'll be ready for anything.